Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hopefully the sound's all good today. Got me a new microphone the other day from one of my wonderful listeners. If the sound's better, just give me a thumbs up and I'll know it's all good. I got several video clips here I wanted to bring to y'all today. Some things that is going on since Charlie Kirk's death. Should I say assassination? And it's people weighing in on what the heck is really going on. We've got the leftists from all walks of life, politicians all the way down to just idiots on Twitter and these platforms, just chirping how they praise the fact that Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. And as far as I'm concerned, that's disgusting. I never wished, as much as I could not stand Joe Biden, the Democrat Party, or Kamala Harris, I never wished them to be shot in the neck. Never one time. And I never will. Us Christians, us conservatives, are a different kind of people. We are not the same as these Democrats. They think it's okay to change the trajectory of the country to suit their needs by any means necessary, including lie, cheat, and steal, murder, schemes of all types, hoaxes, just the whole gambit of just cruel-natured behavior in order to try to convince at least a good part of the population that they need to become domestic terrorists because we're the problem. Now, we've all seen this for a while. It's been coming to a head for a while. We should have done something about it when they shot Trump. But now maybe this is the turning point. After what's happened to Charlie, maybe we've finally woken up enough that more people will get involved to come up with solutions on how to deal with this radicalized Antifa, trans, violent community that is basically domestic terrorists, online domestic terrorists, now that are organized in such a way that they are calling for assassinations and protests that are funded by the George Soros types. It's a bad deal all the way around, folks, and I'm a free speech absolutist, but when you organize to promote violence, that gets into conspiracy to commit crimes, and that's something different altogether. Now, Stephen Miller went viral. He blasted the left for just the absolute fact that we're seeing people coming out of the woodwork from all walks of life with their nasty, negative, cruel opinion of what they think about Charlie Kirk and the whole situation. And I won't play any of those videos to speak of here. I don't want to piss people off no more than they're already angry. We're hurt. We're angry. We're sad. We know that God has taken one of the greatest people in our movement away from us, and it wasn't God that took him away. I guess this killer took this guy away, took Charlie Kirk away from us, and he's went to see his father in heaven. And I feel so bad for his entire family, for the movement, for the change that's going to happen, whether it's good or bad, because it's going to be a rocky road. Fact of the matter is, Charlie Kirk's legacy will live on. There will be more Charlie Kirks to come in the future under a different name. And as far as I know, there's been nothing but support and love for the most part by about 90% of the people that understand the story, understand what Charlie's plight was, actually get past their little left-wing media brainwashing to realize that nobody should wish another human being dead. And we're sick of it at this point, and we're now ready to start doing things to fix this situation. We've got to curb the narrative. We've got to find a way to get accountability. And we've got to investigate these groups that are pushing for the assassinations of so many people in the political world. All right, folks, let's get into it. I got Stephen Miller here. I've got several great video clips here today, and it's pretty much the same theme on all of them. What are we going to do about it? Now that they've killed one of our great leaders in our movement, what are we going to do about it? Stephen Miller's got some ideas. So does a few others.
Where the left calls people enemies of the Republic, calls them fascists, says they're Nazis, says they're evil, says they have to be removed, and then prints their addresses. What do you think they're trying to do? They are trying to inspire someone to murder them. That is their objective. That is their intent. And when you see online, Sean, as we've seen for the last few days, tape after tape after tape of federal workers, bureaucrats, staffers in the Pentagon, educators, professors, healthcare workers, nurses, celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, These are radicalized people. There is a domestic terrorism movement in this country. And let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his Creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us. And we are going to do that under President Trump's leadership. I don't care how. It could be a RICO charge, a conspiracy charge, conspiracy against the United States, insurrection, but we are going to do what it takes to dismantle the organizations and the entities that are fomenting riots, that are doxing, that are trying to inspire terrorism, and that are committing acts of wanton violence. It has to stop. And my message is to all of the domestic terrorists in this country spreading this evil hate: you want us to live in fear? We will not live in fear, but you will live in exile.
I agree. 100%, folks. Now, Michael Schellenberger, who is a great whistleblower and investigative reporter, he actually helped uncover a lot of what happened with the backdoor CIA portals to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all these platforms. He helped expose a lot of that when Elon bought X. And I've been listening to him ever since. And he was on Jesse Waters' celebration of Charlie Kirk's life, hour-long memorial. I hope some of you got a chance to watch it. It was on Fox News last night about 6 o'clock. Definitely worth the watch. But here's a couple of minutes of it, of some of the most interesting information that I think needs to be discussed, and that is, what are we going to do about this problem? What are we going to do about it? He's got some ideas as well.
And that's what we saw happen. They need to renounce what they were saying about fascism, about Nazism. They need to take accountability that there are consequences for what they were doing, and it was to program an entire generation into an utterly absurd fantasy that the United States was being taken over by fascism. I mean, you saw it on the bullet casings of the alleged assassin himself. I think the second thing is that we need a de-radicalization program of colleges, of universities, of the schools. And what we know from past de-radicalization efforts around the world is that it's essential for people who have been radicalized to have a new identity that comes from a new purpose in life and part of a new community. And they also need, as part of that purpose, they need to come back to a story that is true about America, about why this country is special, why it's different from so many other oppressive societies in the past, the freest society that's ever existed. We need to aggressively push back against that. The universities need to do that. The colleges need to do that. There needs to be, and if the Democrats aren't going to do this, Jesse, then they need to be called out for it. Because, look, this shooter, this alleged shooter, he's downstream from, at least a decade or more of that dehumanization. It's a terrible tragedy. Obviously, he should be held accountable. But he was a result of those years of dehumanizing Republicans and conservatives.
And that's the absolute truth. I blame the media more than I blame anybody else for all these radical 20-year-olds that think it's okay to pick up a gun to solve your problems. It's not the right answer. It's not what God would have wanted. I think these people need to find Jesus. That's what I believe needs to happen. Now, I know everybody knows who Corey Harrison is from the Pawn Stars. We've all seen Pawn Stars many a times. The Las Vegas show where they had the pawn shop and with Chumlee and Rick and Corey, where they bought and sold all kinds of neat antiquities and things. I know you've seen the show. Everybody has. Well, Corey decided he wanted to weigh in about Charlie Kirk. I don't know if he was a Trump supporter or not. I know his father, Rick, was or is. But Corey weighed in on this, and I think he's absolutely right here and spot on to the point of what needs to be.
You know what? We lost a great one today, guys. I'm just going to throw it out there. I never thought I'd agree with Democrats, man. Thoughts and prayers aren't enough this time. There needs to be action. I'm done with this. This is ridiculous. You guys ever notice his one side? It's one side every single time. Do you know what happens when you sit there, CNN, MSNBC, when you sit there and you demonize somebody, you call them a Nazi? Nazis are supposed to be evil. You're literally telling the entire country, that every one of your viewers, everybody that watches you online, that this man, it's okay to kill Nazis, right? You don't like the way he thinks. Who's the Nazi? You guys literally let this man die on your watch. You guys are the one that contributed to this. It was every single one of you that supported anything that they said. Every Democrat, every news channel, anybody that ever said, if you don't think the way we think, this man is a Nazi. This man had 3 children. He was a pastor. He was a father. And he was loved by a bunch of people. You guys killed this man, whether you pulled the trigger yourself. There needs to be action. There needs to be something done. And there needs to be perp walks for this. You guys created a monster. You guys have to deal with it. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
And I can honestly say I feel the exact same way. I'm just angry inside still behind this whole situation. The only thing I have left to do at this point when I'm at wit's end with my emotions is just to give it up to God, get on my knees, and pray for sanity in these trying times, because I know I'm not the only one. This has been a lot to take in. It's been too much to take in. So I would say to everybody that is that's ever prayed, time now is to pray for peace and justice. We need some accountability. We need some things to change, but we don't need to push violence with violence. And I'm so proud of our side of the block, the Republican Party. Not one person has burned the city down. Not one riot has happened. Not one person has been snatched out of the streets because they kind of look like the guy that did the crime. We didn't go lynch mob justice like the Democrats do every time you turn around. It's because we're better than that. It's because we have God on our side. And it shows just by the lack of action on our, or lack of reaction on our part, which is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we would have a civil war behind something like this pretty easy. There's just too many people that are stirred up behind this. And the right answer is solutions. This is in England, and there was over 1 million people. Some said up to 3 million people, but over 1 million people is marching for England's rights and for American rights. They're fighting for the fact that they know that somebody who just celebrated life tried to encourage the young people to get involved with their communities, be a part of the voter bloc, wake up, pay attention, love your fellow man, and try to be a better person and get closer to God. That's what Charlie's message was. Trying to bring sanity, peace, and open debate to the young community, to the college kids, and to anybody that was willing to listen. And I'm glad that his death did not go in vain. The entire world knows who Charlie Kirk is today. And there has been celebrations of his life. There's been vigils. The funeral is today. Several countries across Europe have just stood up and decided to memorialize Charlie Kirk's effort and realize that the problem is the radicals, but they're the effect of the cause, which is the mainstream media fomenting this violence. And there's politicians that are in on that as well. And some people are so impressionable, but if you tell them somebody's a fascist long enough, they'll want to do something about it. And that's just the facts of the matter, folks. That's the nut and bolts of all of this. But I believe this was a wake-up moment for the entire planet. World leaders have even weighed in on this whole situation, and I think it was past due for us to finally decide we've had enough of this anti-American sentiment being energized in our country by the transgender movement, the George Soros money, the mainstream media that vilifies everybody. It's all systematically destroying the sanity of obviously the Gen Zers in our country, the people that are still weak-minded enough to believe that crap. If you do a little research, you wouldn't be a lefty, and that's just what I believe. But it is what it is. But no doubt about it, folks. There's people all over the world that are now realizing what Charlie Kirk did for.
Right there. How powerful is that? Uniting our movements, Charlie Kirk. So for next week, we're going to have, over the weekend, we're going to have work on many fronts, but two that we have to drive. Number one, we have to have law enforcement come through. Mark Mitchell's right. We have no confidence in any of the institutions.
There's going to have to be some accountability, folks, and that's the bottom line here. They're going to have to find a way to hunt down these radicals, take these Antifa chapters, and put them under full investigation. Find out how many people on the internet were talking about Charlie Kirk's death before it actually happened. Things like that they can do, and find out who all was involved. Now, this video here is something someone put together, and it's absolutely true. It's the Democrat Party in a nutshell, and this is why we cannot let this ride, because they will never change. They will always be destroying lives if we don't fix the situation, including changing the narrative by going after these media pundits. If you stick around, we got a solution to how to deal with lying mainstream media pumping propaganda to the population. There is a solution, folks. There was an act put into place. It was around for years. When Barack Obama got in there, he rescinded it. We'll get into that directly.
Connecting the dots between the Trump campaign and Russia.
On the impeachment of the President of the United States.
Tearing up the President's speech.
Because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. So please, bring on the recession.
Please bring on the recession.
Facebook says it's taken down the Trump re-election campaign as
To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America, requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy, unity.
The thing that opened my eyes was learning about the media, because I would occasionally see them write pieces about something that I had knowledge of and saw how they were lying. And I feel like once you notice how the media is lying to you once,
this was a white lash.
It's all you will notice. It's all you'll see in everything.
It was a white lash against a black president.
As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy.
Bigots on the ballot are the shameful dark side of our politics right now, and they are running as Republicans.
The credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump.
And remove Donald Trump and consign him and those who supported him in the Senate to the trash heap of history.
spin. They can't even open their mouths about unity. Shut up about unity.
And once you have that piece of the puzzle of seeing the extent in which they lie and manipulate people, there's no one seeing it.
And that's what's happened this week, folks. Just like all the things that have been exposed over the last 6 months through mostly right-wing media and X and these platforms, YouTube and Facebook, all these places that we are able to push the truth out as much as possible, Rumble as well. People have been waking up for a whole minute. The Democrat Party is losing ground every single day in this country because the truth is coming out. And what they did to Charlie Kirk, how these lefties are reacting to it, how Charlie Kirk never done anything to incite any kind of hateful rhetoric, violence, or anything of that nature. Not one time did I ever listen to Charlie Kirk and think, nah, he was wrong about that. Not one time. He always stood on the word of the Bible as his backbone for his debates, and that alone I feel like he was a preacher in so many ways, as much as he was a community activist trying to wake people up. He was a godly man, and they killed him for it because he was too big a voice for the truth, including God is the way, peace is the way, open discussion, debate is the way. They killed him for it, and I don't think we'll ever forget it. I hope everybody that hated to see this happen will go vote in 2026 and in 2028. We can't let these radicals run our country anymore. We have got to vote them out at the least. So if you don't vote, I don't know why you're listening to my channel. That is one of the, I'd say, the premise of why I do this. I want to encourage people to wake up, pay attention, and by all means, do what you can to help, including voting every 2 years or every year in local elections as well. That's what I encourage everybody to do. That is the mission statement of my channel. Wake up, go hunt the truth yourself. Stop being brainwashed. And for God's sake, if you hate the way things are going, go vote and fix it. Now, Elon Musk retweeted this, and it went viral as well. They are poisoning the minds of our children. This has only just begun. Creating a spreadsheet of the people who have said vile things about Charlie Kirk's assassination. So far, teachers and professors are by far the most represented. So that shows you where the problem is. It's these indoctrinating vile creatures, otherwise known as school teachers. You know, it's not a coincidence that the teacher union is the Democrat Party major donor, and they work hand in hand. And another thing I want to say while we're on this subject, if they defund these colleges from being able to receive funds from foreign nations, it will change a lot. These professors will not be making these massive salaries with these foreign money injections, which actually helps them decide to promote their way of thinking, which is warping the minds of the young people. And I'm glad to see somebody is putting a list together. Maybe we'll have to go through and fire all of these people. I would hope so. If you're a teacher and you think it's good that Charlie got shot, you are the wrong person to be representing someone that teaches the youth. You're not a teacher to me. You're a revolutionary. You're an activist. You're a lot of things, but you're not a teacher. Not a good one. And I think we need to get to the bottom of this. I think we need to have a real cleaning out of the teachers union and all these people that have exposed themselves by just not being able to keep their hate for Charlie Kirk at bay. So now we're creating lists. Now where the list will go, who knows? But if you're a domestic terrorist, if you promote and foment violence, and you get on social media to encourage people to be more violent, you're the problem. And I'll just leave it at that. I've seen that there is thousands and thousands of more Charlie Kirk chapters. People have tried to start Charlie Kirk chapters since this has happened over the last 3 or 4 days. Literally thousands and thousands of chapters people have been trying to start new chapters at all kinds of new locations, schools that have never even had Charlie Kirk at their school, just because these young people are aware and awake as to what just happened. A Christian voice for the people was just snuffed out behind mainstream media's radicalization, villainization of conservatives. And it's sad, but it's the biggest part of the problem, and we've got to fix it. Now, this here is what Elon Musk and several people have tweeted out. This has went viral in the last 12 hours, 13 hours. It says multiple trans people in the area posted on September 9th that something big will be happening to Charlie Kirk tomorrow. So there's several people in the trans community, probably on Discord or Blue Sky, that were talking about obviously something going to happen to Charlie Kirk. Now, why wasn't our government scouring these websites, when people are talking about somebody fixing to be killed or something bad going to happen to somebody and several people are discussing it, it should definitely be investigated. Maybe we could have stopped this. And what I say to this is, we see you. That's the truth, folks. We see you. Keep fomenting your hate, people, folks. It may cost you more than just your opinion and being ostracized on social media and put on blast on X. These people are idiots. If you're such a cruel person that you think someone's death was a good thing, maybe you need to keep that to yourself. Or maybe not. Maybe you need to be exposed for letting the devil in your head. Now, this here went super viral. This girl was talking about an act that has already been established, but was canceled due to Barack Obama in 2012. But she's right, and Trump has retruthed this, so I believe this may actually get some traction. Listen here, folks. This is great.
Alrighty, this message is for President Trump and his administration. If you stay to watch the video, please tag him down below, share, and repost so we can try to get this to him as quickly as possible and hope that he can do something with this. President Trump, as a supporter who voted for you 3 times, I am hoping and praying that you will revisit what Barack Obama and Joe Biden got rid of back in 2013, which is the Smith-Mundt Act, which held news corporations accountable for lying to the American people and spreading propaganda instead of truth. I think instead of bringing it back as a Smith-Mundt Act, you name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you make it damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Fines out the ass, which will damn near bankrupt their companies should they lie to the American people ever again. They can have their opinions, that's fine. They need to state that it is their opinion and that it is not a fact. Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. Because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they called you, this man is dead. I think this would be a great legacy for him to have a law named after him to force journalists to finally start telling the truth and having the integrity that they have lacked for over a decade. I hope that this gets to you. I hope that you think about it and that you pass it into law. Because we are on a dangerous path right now with the constant lies and the propaganda, and that doesn't end just at news journalists. It needs to go to content creators who consistently spread lies and propaganda and half-truths across the internet. This needs to end, and people need to start being held accountable for baseless claims over absolute abysmal things. It needs to end. So please, if you have it in your heart to have the time to do this, get this in front of Congress, get this passed as a law, and start holding these news corporations, be they right, left, or center, accountable for their behavior. Thank you.
I agree with her 100% on that one. That is a wonderful idea. It was a law before. Barack Obama literally took it out. Didn't want to deal with it. Figured it was a better way to pump propaganda if you take that act out of existence. It was called the Smith-Mundt Act. Mundt Act of 1949 prohibited the use of propaganda in any of our media, citing it as a threat to our national security. News agencies from turning into an entertainment outlet, ultimately becoming a threat to our national security. Former President Barack Obama undid this in 2012, declassifying it as entertainment and allowed them to start using propaganda in our media. All of our media, magazines, and newspapers, TV news, and yes, our textbooks. This is why President Trump calls our mainstream media fake news. The people want our news back again. The people want the truth back again, not the lies from the left. It's just the facts, folks. There is solutions. That's the point of this video today. It wasn't to offend you, piss you off, or make you more angry about what's going on. It was about the fact that there is something going on in this country ever since Charlie was assassinated, And once people get to the point they're able to deal with their grief and move past it, they're not just going to move past it and forget. We're going to fix this. We're going to de-radicalize this nation. We're going to go after those that want the conservative party to be non-existent. We have to, folks. This is a war, literally a spiritual war that we can't just lay down and take it on the chin every time they take one of our great ones away from us. That's not the way it works. We give it all up to God. Vengeance is His, and I agree with that 100%. But I also believe in justice and accountability. And so we're going to have to start making some major changes to get that done, including the Charlie Kirk Act. It's coming soon, folks. I said this the same day that Charlie was killed on my channel. I said this is going to change everything. There's going to be Charlie Kirk bills, Charlie Kirk acts, Charlie Kirk policies that change the trajectory of how our colleges are run, how political hate speech is going to have to be dealt with, and the fact that, like Charlie said to Stephen Miller, one of the biggest problems we have in our country that we're going to have to deal with someday is this hateful rhetoric that is being propagandized, promoted by the Democrat Party. It's obviously indoctrination level hatred that they feel vindicated in being able to try to murder somebody because of the way they're vilified. We've seen it happen to Trump, it happened to Steve Scalise, several Republicans. Rand Paul has been attacked, Charlie Kirk, Andy Ngo, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. These people have been doxxed. Marjorie Taylor Greene and dozens of Republican congressmen have been doxxed. We've got to fix this, folks. There's going to have to be immediate change enacted by Congress, by executive order, through a Charlie Kirk Act, whatever it takes. We're going to have to nip this in the bud because it's only grown. If people knew Charlie was going to get shot the day before in the trans Antifa community, online, on discourse and places, we should have known about it. That's all I got to say, folks. I will be doing a live here in a couple of hours, fixing to get up and get to moving around now, building our blessing bags. I've got lots of groceries this week, as I do every week. Going to feed between 40 and 50 people today. Going to get it done, do a live stream here. Probably in a couple of hours, we'll jump out there after we get this sorted and separated, bagged up, and loaded up to bring to the people. Like, subscribe, and share. Devoted Patriots. Hope to see you over on the live. Thanks for listening. Don't mean to rant so long, but this Charlie Kirk story is not going away. It's going to morph into something else, like accountability and justice, because we're at the point we can't do it anymore. We need some reckoning for the way they've been treating us for about 8 years, and the only way to do it is start now. We haven't had any accountability whatsoever in this country for the last 4 years. Now it's time for accountability. 2026, let's lock them all up. Every single one of these cowards, these horrible people that think they have the right to destroy our country in the name of their party and hate. It's the devil, folks. It's a spiritual war, and hopefully you know what side of the street you're on in this battle, and like myself are willing to talk about it. You catch anybody in the streets talking trash about Charlie Kirk, like Maxine Waters says, get up in their faces. Well, if you see a Charlie Kirk hater out there, go ahead and put them on blast. Do it for me, or for Charlie, or for the fact that these people shouldn't be able to get away with this. We've all got to be active members of getting this accountability going. Like the girl that had the great idea with the Charlie Kirk Act. That's what it's gonna take, folks, to fix this country. It's gonna take more than a handful of people. It's gonna take a groundswell movement of people that are willing to exercise change to fix the problem. Like, subscribe, and share. Devoted Patriots.